10 a.m. Persian Gulf. 52 nautical miles southwest of Bandar Abbas. On the flight deck of the USS Gerald Ford, Major Pilot Jake Hammer Reeves tightens his harness for the third time, a habit formed after more than 200 combat sorties. The sky is crystal clear. Light wind. The sea flat as glass. The kind of calm that seasoned soldiers learn not to trust. Beneath his cockpit, the 100,000-ton carrier cuts through the water, escorted by 3 Arleigh Burke-class destroyers, USS Kearney, USS Gravely, and USS Mason, along with the cruiser CG-73 Port Royal. Not the largest battle group ever deployed here, but enough for Washington to feel confident. Maybe a little too confident. Because across the strait, at 3 fast attack boat bases along the coast, Bandar Abbas, Keshem, and Jask, a coordinated assault plan is entering its final stage. This is not purely an Iranian plan. It is the product of 3 nations. Combat doctrine, Russia. Navigation and jamming systems, China. Blood and sacrifice, Iran. Do you know what makes this situation completely different from every confrontation before it? Let me show you what is about to leave port. At the 3 bases, 18 high-speed attack boats are no longer armed with simple machine guns. Each carries 2 Nor anti-ship missiles, Iran's version of the Harpoon missile, upgraded with a new active radar seeker developed with Chinese assistance. Effective range, 35 kilometers. Far enough to fire from beyond the range of most American naval guns. At 2 military airfields, Heshmat and Khatami, 14 fighter aircraft are preparing for takeoff. Su-22s and F-4 Phantoms. But not the Cold War relics you might imagine. They've been modernized with updated avionics and are carrying Kh-35U anti-ship cruise missiles supplied by Russia, sea-skimming missiles designed specifically to slip through point defense systems. And the most dangerous element of all, a ground-based electronic warfare system, using Chinese technology, scheduled to activate at 10:20 a.m. Its purpose: blind the radar systems of American destroyers for 8 to 12 minutes during the opening phase of the attack. Iran is betting everything on that 12-minute window. 10:28 a.m. Major General Hossein Rahmani, the operations commander, a man who has spent 15 years studying every simulation of how the U.S. Navy could be vulnerable, lifts a phone. He says a single word in Farsi. Bahar. Spring. The order is given. It cannot be taken back. 10:30 a.m. At Heshmat Airbase, 14 engines roar to life simultaneously. The runway trembles. One by one, the fighters surge into the blue sky, leaving long trails of white exhaust. They split into 2 formations. 8 aircraft from the northeast. 6 from the north. 2 attack angles, forcing American defenses to split their attention. At the same moment, 18 attack boats surge out of harbor. Not in chaos, but in a calculated wedge formation, inspired by Russian small boat naval tactics tested in the Black Sea. Speed 42 knots. White water explodes behind them. The jamming system activates at 10:31. On USS Kearney and USS Mason, several radar displays begin to flicker. Bright contacts blur, then disappear. 4 minutes. 8 minutes. 10 minutes. General Rahmani checks his watch. For the first time in years, he feels something like hope. But here is what Tehran did not calculate. 10:33 a.m. The USS Gerald Ford carries an E-2D Advanced Hawkeye airborne early warning aircraft, flying patrol at 25,000 feet, well outside the reach of Iran's ground jamming systems. At 10:33, that Hawkeye sees everything. The pilot's voice fills the communication network of the entire carrier strike group. Multiple bogies, bearing 035, Angels 20, count 14. Surface contacts bearing 010, count 18, speed 40 plus. This is not a drill. Not a drill. Inside Ford's Combat Information Center, screens ignite with activity. Admiral Sarah Chin, the first female commander to lead a U.S. carrier strike group deployed to the Persian Gulf, stands up from her chair. She studies the battlefield display. 18 boats. 14 aircraft. Active jamming. She has 90 seconds to decide. All units, this is Ford Actual. Weapons free. Engage all threats. Protect the ship. Have you ever seen a real dogfight? Not in movies. Not in video games. The kind where every second decides life or death. Imagine this. 10:36 a.m. 4F divided by a -18E Super Hornets on combat air patrol 60 nautical miles northwest of the carrier turn hard. Afterburners ignite. They climb. Lead pilot, Major Reeves. Hammer. His radar locks onto the group of 8 Iranian fighters 95 nautical miles away. Fox 3. Fox 3. 8 AIM-120D AMRAAM missiles launch within 11 seconds. Missile speed, Mach 4. Nothing outruns that. Iranian pilots receive missile warnings. Some brake sharply. Some release flares. But the AIM-120D uses active radar guidance. It ignores flares. Within 35 seconds, 5 Iranian fighters fall into the sea. 3 remaining aircraft dive low, below 300 feet, trying to hide in sea clutter. A tactic taught by Russian advisors. But USS Port Royal is ready. Its SPY-6 radar locks on. 2 SM-6 missiles launch. The low-flying aircraft disappear from Iranian radar screens. The second strike group, 6 aircraft from the northeast, reaches launch distance. They fire KH-35U missiles from about 40 kilometers. 8 cruise missiles break away and skim the sea toward the carrier. But Ford's SUT Block 3 electronic warfare system already recognizes the radar signatures. NATO intelligence gathered them from Russian missile use in Ukraine. Within 4 seconds, the system begins jamming the missile seekers. 5 missiles lose guidance and crash into the sea. 3 remaining missiles are destroyed by CIWS and CIRAM defenses. The 6 Su-22s attempt to retreat. But 2 Super Hornets are already behind them. There is no escape. 10:58 a.m. All 14 Iranian aircraft are destroyed. Not a single missile reaches the Ford. Let me ask you something. If you were an Iranian pilot in that moment, knowing there was no way home, what would you do? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I truly want to hear your perspective. While the sky turns into hell, the 18 attack boats keep coming. They do not retreat, even after the air battle is lost. And that, even from an enemy, deserves recognition. These are soldiers. Not anonymous pawns. 11:02 a.m. Distance, 28 nautical miles. USS Carney opens fire. The Mk-45 127mm naval gun, affectionately called the Big Gun, by its crew, begins placing shells into the center of the Iranian boat formation at 20 rounds per minute. Not random fire. Each shell is GPS guided. The lead boat takes a direct hit in its engine compartment and erupts in flames. The boats behind attempt evasive maneuvers. But at 42 knots on flat water, there is very little room to maneuver. At 18 nautical miles, all 3 destroyers open fire. For 127mm guns from 4 different directions create a corridor of fire no small boat formation can survive intact. By 11:14, 9 of the 18 boats are destroyed or disabled. But the remaining 9 keep coming. They split apart, searching for gaps. One boat slips near USS Gravely at 11 nautical miles and manages to launch both NOR missiles before being destroyed. The missiles fly. But SPY-6 radar tracks them instantly. CIRAM launches. Both missiles are destroyed at 6 nautical miles from the carrier. The boat that fired them? Torn apart by 40mm gunfire seconds later. 11:24 a.m. The final boat, designated Iran-18 by U.S. tracking, keeps running. Alone. Distance, 7 nautical miles. 3 guns from 3 ships lock onto it. Inside the cockpit, the commander, later identified by U.S. intelligence as Lieutenant Arash Karimi, 27 years old, from Shiraz, father of a 2-year-old boy, does not slow down. 3 bursts of gunfire arrive simultaneously. 11:26 a.m. All 18 attack boats are destroyed. USS Gerald R. Ford is untouched. Admiral Chen does not wait for orders from Washington. She already has authorization. 11:45 a.m. 12F divided by a -18F Super Hornets launch from Ford. Each carries two 1,000-pound JDM bombs and JSOW missiles. No fanfare. No announcement. They simply disappear into the sky toward Iran. Targets: 3 fast boat bases, 2 military airfields, and the Chinese electronic warfare system in Bandar Abbas. The $200 million jamming system Beijing spent 4 years developing. The first JSOW hits the main antenna at 12:08 p.m. Nothing remains to jam radar anymore. Over the next 22 minutes, all 5 military facilities are devastated. Runways shattered. Hangars collapsed. Fuel depots erupt into fire columns 200 feet high, visible from Oman's coast. The message is not only for Tehran. It is for Moscow: your weapons did not help. And for Beijing: your technology is now ash. 12:18 p.m. All 12 Super Hornets returned safely. Militarily, the numbers are clear. Iran lost 14 fighter aircraft, 18 attack boats, 5 military bases, around 120 personnel. The United States, no losses. But numbers never tell the whole story. Lieutenant Karimi will never watch his son grow up. Major Reeves, Hammer, sits silently in his cockpit for 20 minutes after returning. He shot down 3 aircraft that day. In his journal, he writes, "I don't feel like a winner today." In her report to the Pentagon, Admiral Chen adds a line outside official format. "The men on those boats were brave. They deserved better commanders." War does not choose who deserves to live or die. It only chooses who is better prepared. We've just walked through one of the most complex combat scenarios that could unfold in the Persian Gulf today. With real weapons, real doctrine, and real geopolitics. But I want to hear from you. What do you think would change if Iran had 10 more minutes of effective radar jamming? And the bigger question: in a world where Russia provides weapons, China provides technology, and smaller nations fight the battles, who is truly responsible for the deaths? Leave your thoughts below. There is no right or wrong answer. These are the same questions military strategists and policymakers are debating right now. If this video showed you something new about how modern warfare works, share it with someone who should see it. And if you want deeper analysis of military doctrine, advanced weapons, and global flashpoints, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next story will be even more intense. Thank you for watching until the end. See you in the next one.